Hey guys, this is Cam from 15 back at it with another video for you guys, and I'm back with another Black Clover arc review video for you guys, and we're covering the fourth arc of the series titled Eye of the Midnight Sun Encounter arc. So this arc, honestly, I really did like this arc. I really did like this arc from the standpoint the action is freaking crazy in this arc. Like we see the inner depths of what Yami can really do. Not really what he can truly do, but what Yami, being pushed can do. And it's pretty cool to see. It's pretty cool to see. Also, another thing I like this arc is the standpoint that I guess you can say this arc is essentially taught is essentially brought over from the next arc or the last arc, the previous arc, which was the Royal Capital Assault arc with obviously the Eye of the Midnight Sun group and everything, and they're built into this arc and they're put here in this arc to where guess what? Okay, here we go. This seems like it's gonna be a main storyline point to take out this group who has like these aspirations and terroristic types of ideals and stuff like that. So it's very interesting. I like how these two arcs go hand in hand and they tie. Even with me starting in the next arc, it even has some ties to this group as well and stuff like that. But yes, let's get into this arc. Now, this arc covers manga chapters 38 to 56, while it covers anime episodes 28 to 39. Now, shockingly enough, the arc starts off where Finral actually asked frickin' Luck and Asta to go on a blind date with them. And Finral's got these three girls, and it's looking like, well, they're gonna get to know these girls really well and stuff like that. I find it funny how Noelle actually kind of tags along, and she kind of is sneakily throughout this arc, following Asta because we know she has feelings for Asta. She doesn't want to admit it. And she sees Asta go on this blind date, and then she's always wondering. The one thing I did like is the fact that Noelle is like very like, my goodness, why am I doing all this? I don't care about that peasant. I don't care about that insect. But Noelle keeps caring about that one insect, which is very funny. It's very cute, very adorable. Now, some people they might not like this whole romance angle they're going with, and they might not like also the fact that Asta is getting an increasingly, I would say number of girls who are just falling over him or fawning over him, and he's getting them harem, which is pretty unique in the show in a freaking shonen show. Because I've watched I haven't watched every shonen show, but I've watched some of the big shonen shows, and I could, by my recollection, never think that Goku had a harem. Deku never had a harem. Luffy's never had a harem, and stuff like that. Asta's like the one shonen protagonist I know that's got like, we're already in the fourth arc, and this dude's got like 3-4 girls wanting him so damn bad. So yeah. Anyways, what I mean is the newest, I guess, love interest for Asta is Rebecca Scarlet, which she's essentially just a redhead girl who's a pretty nice girl. Honestly, I like Rebecca as a character in this arc. Now, she doesn't do much of anything because, well, she's just kind of a civilian. But, after Luck goes off with this one girl to show some power to her, and then Finral goes off with this other girl, Asta and Rebecca have some time alone, and Asta tries to start a conversation and stuff like that. And Rebecca kind of makes an indirect comment about her siblings, and Asta's like, really? I want to say I don't have siblings, but I have people, little kids I know who I think of who I think of as siblings, and that's the whole thing there. And that's kind of how they hit it off. They start to get to know each other better and start to have actually a talking relationship. Eventually gets to the point where Asta actually defends her from this one, I guess, drunken dude. They go to this back alley. Rebecca also asks Asta if he wonders if, he has anybody special in his life that, I guess, where his heart lies. And Asta, obviously, we know at this point in time, has his heart only lying with Sister Lily. And she's always like, oh, okay. But the thing about Rebecca is she has a determination to, I guess, have Asta, you know, fall for her. And to Noelle's disappointment, she is like, what the hell is going on here and stuff like that. Now, actually, Noelle, before Asta says, well, actually, I do have somebody, you know, who I think about in my heart every day. Now, Noelle thinks it's actually, and even up to the point I'm around now in the story, Noelle thinks Asta is referring to her. But Asta hasn't been so open yet from the standpoint. It's like, oh, no, I like Sister Lily. And essentially Noelle's too damn flustered to ask him because she's always on the whole banter. Why should I fricking I'm not talking about this peasant boy. I'm not talking about this common boy, this commoner. I don't like him or anything, but you don't know Noelle likes him and stuff like that. But again, I just have a feeling eventually Asta will have feelings for Noelle. At some point, I just feel like eventually his feelings for Sister Lily are going to fall. I feel like based on it will probably be Sister Lily if Sister Lily ever meets Noelle. I can envision Sister Lily telling Asta, that girl of yours, that friend of yours who's a girl, she's actually pretty nice. You shouldn't be worried about me. Maybe you should be with her and stuff like that. Maybe that will spark something in Asta. If that's the case, I will make Asta a great, well, I'm going to say, and make him not such an oblivious protagonist and everything. But yeah. Now the next day happens, and we see Asta essentially just messing around with Rebecca's siblings and just playing around with them. He's also playing around with Gauche's younger sister Marie, and this comes to, I guess, in a weird way, the fourth love interest of Asta, even though it's a little girl. And it gets to the point where Marie is like, Gauche needs to leave Asta alone because he's going to be my future husband. And Gauche gets pretty upset about this whole statement, and he tries to literally kill Asta for, majority of their arc till the main arc gets started, which when I watched this, I was dying when she said, he's going to be my husband. And he's just like, now, again, Gauche has some sort of weird sister complex where he just loves his sister so damn much. Now, we'll get into the backstory reasoning behind that. But I will say for Gauche, out of I guess all the, arcs that introduces one of the Black Bull members, I do like Gauche probably the most because his backstory is I guess you could say the most understanding because genuinely, even though he kind of goes over the top with caring about Marie, he genuinely does care about his sister. And I do like the development he gets later in this arc, especially from Marie saying, listen, you can't always be worrying about me. You have to, you have a job as a magic knight to worry about everybody, not just me alone and stuff like that. Now, the thing is, Asta eventually has to stay over because Rebecca requests he stay over, and into dismay of Noelle, she's kind of like, why the hell would he sleep over there? And stuff like that. Eventually, what happens in the middle of the night? Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention. We also see another sister in Sister Teresa, who is another big, important character in this arc alone. Not only for the Gauche, mostly for the Gauche developmental standpoint and stuff on that, getting him to care about other people other than just Marie. I also do like the fact even later in the arc, Sister Teresa actually mentions to Asta that, oh yeah, I know about Sister Iris, or not Sister Iris, Sister Lily and stuff like that. And she told me about you, about a boy, who's very loud and, has aspirations of becoming the Wizard King and everything. So it's nice to see that, they tie some past elements of Asta's past with the characters he knows from the past, like a Sister Lily, and on that. I also do like the fact that we find out that, the reason why she truly is strong is from the standpoint, she was a teacher to a Fugolion. And I do like the fact that she taught Fugolion essentially everything he knew and he knows and stuff like that. And it makes sense. Oh, okay. That's why, he became such a strong person because, obviously Sister Teresa looked after. So I really did like this, this sister character. I really did like her. She was really good. I definitely did like her. She was probably one of my favorite characters in this arc alone and stuff like that. But going on to the arc really truly gets into the main portion from the standpoint where snow just falls down and we see all these kids just walk out of their houses and they go to this cave where we see these guys named Barrow and Nage are essentially capturing them and they're taking essentially, they put them in a trance and they're taking them for they're taking their magic power out of their body so they can sell it off and stuff like that, which is pretty despicable. Eventually, Rebecca, wakes up and interrupts the fight between Asta and Ghost because Ghost was trying to kill Asta for being so close to Marie. And the thing, and essentially the thing is, Ghost, Asta, and Sister Teresa have to go find the kids. They eventually go do. And they come across this cave, and that's when they run into Barrow and Nage. And essentially, I believe Nage is the silver-haired one. He kind of gets taken out pretty easily because he thinks Asta's nothing, but Asta just beats him easily, and then also he defeats Barrow as well. Also, even before that, Marie also is the first one to break out of the, I guess you could say the trance because Ghost's magic was actually protecting her. His mirror magic was actually protecting her and stuff like that. So that's the whole thing there and stuff like that. So eventually what happens is, when it looks like, okay, we're done, we can save the kids, go home, this is not a huge issue. All of a sudden, we see Sally from the Eye of the Midnight Sun, one of their members, show up, what we saw at the last part of the arc. And essentially, she's like going on her crazy spiel of how she wants to see Austin. I guess you can count this girl in Asta's little harem. She's like, it's like freaking Toga with Deku, to be honest, where it's just a crazy girl just high over heels for Asta, but it's kind of a weird thing. She just wants Asta because she wants to dissect him really badly because he uses anti-magic and stuff like that. So that's when we see him, that's when we see her kind of jam the whole, I guess you can say, I forgot the whole freaking shot thing, the injection into Barrow and turns him into a mudman and essentially takes away his human personality. And essentially, for majority of the point, Asta and Mother Teresa and Sister Teresa are fighting, Barrow's new state, while Ghost took Marie away and stuff like that. And that's kind of where we get into the backstory of Marie and Ghost. And essentially, we find out that, well, in the past, Ghost and Marie were of a wealthy family. Their parents were wealthy, but you have these, I guess you can say, these evil contracting type of people who are trying to get their riches, eventually set them up to the point where they killed them. And they essentially got their riches because they fooled Ghost's and Marie's parents to handing over their belongings, their riches, if they were to surprisingly die, and they killed them up. Ghost found that out as a kid, and essentially those people said, "Get out of here! You're nothing else, anything." So essentially, they were living as poor runaway kids, and we see how Ghost was mostly kind of a thug and kind of stole stuff so he and his sister could survive. Eventually, it got to the point where, he got arrested. He got arrested. He was in jail, but then, after breaking out of it, Yami finds him, and Yami enlists him into, obviously, his magic squad, the Black Bulls, and said, listen, you can protect what you want to protect. Just make sure it's not causing any trouble and stuff like that. Obviously, we know that Yami has been picking up a lot of misfits and people that he feels, are like a part of him that join his band of misfits, because that's what the Black Bulls are. They're just a group of misfits, essentially, and stuff like that. So I definitely did like that. And I like how the fact that Marie was the one to snap him out and say, listen, you can't get this whole complex about me where it's only about me being protected. You have to go out there and you got to help your friends, help your friends. And also you got to save other people, not just me. So that inspires something new within Ghost, to where he's kind of still, by the time the end of the arc, he still has that sister complex, but he's more open to helping others and stuff like that, but still has a big sister complex and stuff like that. So yeah. Now we also see Noelle actually call for help and tell Seke, and Seke eventually goes to Black Bull's hideout, gets help, and that's when we see Yami appear later on in the arc, and stuff like that. But eventually, after obviously Barrow is defeated, the transformed Barrow is defeated. Nage kind of consoles his brother, saying he just wanted truly a friend. I do like the whole standpoint where Asta goes up to Nage and he's like, "Listen, I'll be your friend after this is all said and done," and stuff like that. So I definitely did like that a lot. Definitely shows that Asta's a genuine good guy and he's not going to fault people even if they do bad things. Because even Asta's like, you just got to make sure you pay for what you've done to the kids and stuff like that. And Nage was honestly accepting with that. Now, this is what happens is, this is when we see Lict shows up. Lict, who is the leader of who we thought was the leader of the Eye of the Midnight Sun, shows up. He starts impaling people with his light spears and everything. And when it looks like Asta's going to get attacked, like I know he gets Nage, he gets Ghost, I think, pretty bad. In the knee, and then he also actually he actually freaking puts 3 or 4 of those spears, light spears, into Sister Teresa, which puts Sister Teresa kind of on the brink of death for a bit in this arc. Then before it looked like Asta's gonna get hit, Yami shows up and saves him. And then we get this crazy epic fight with Yami and Lict. And it was so cool, so badass. And the stuff Yami does was just insane. And we see Yami, use dark magic compared to Lict's light magic, which was pretty cool. Freaking pretty cool. Now, the reasoning why Lict is showing up and why he's so gun-ho and getting after Asta is from the standpoint he wants to take Asta's grimoire, because we find out, according to Lict, the true master, I guess, of the Eye of the Midnight Sun, essentially, I guess owns that book, and mostly the swords Asta comes with. They're like the 2 demon swords or something like that. I forgot which each of them were called. Both of them were called different names. And we see that Lict's like, I need that grimoire for those swords and stuff like that. Which it's like, okay, very interesting to see where this is going. So, it's interesting to see why Lict wants it. That probably makes sense why, they captured Asta in the first arc, in the last arc. So maybe they could give him the lick and, take his, swords and everything. But it's freaking cool. This fight between, listen, you either have to read it in the manga or watch it in the anime to see how cool this fight is. And just seeing this fight was so damn good. And I'm like, damn, Yami's a badass. He's really cool. We also get introduced to a new powers, structure, power level type of thing. And that's how, Yami introduces to Asta this whole thing about ki. No, is ki like the Dragon Ball ki? No. When I was watching somebody review this arc before I made this video, they related it to One Piece and how observation hockey is handled. And that's kind of how it is. It's essentially, if you watch One Piece or you read One Piece, how observation hockey is handled in that series, it's kind of this, just making sure, essentially, countering attacks based on the surroundings and stuff like that are around you and everything. Listen, could you say this is kind of a rushed ability to learn at this point in time? Yes, but I guess for a non-magic wielder in Asta, it makes sense for his standpoint, because he was going up against Voltos, and he was having a tough time and everything. But eventually, along with the whole fact that Asta's staying calm, and Yami even tells him, listen, fight your own way, especially if it comes to using ki, Asta does it, and he fights his own way, and he manages to defeat Voltos. The one thing I do like about Lict and even the other Eye of the Midnight Storm members is they seem to have, some sense of camaraderie. Oh my God. The dang, this camaraderie. From the standpoint that, if one of them gets hurt, their other members actually sincerely care about each other, which kind of shows that they're not too bad guys, but they're still people that do bad things that they shouldn't be doing. I do like that standpoint that they have a like family type of sense where it's like, you hurt my comrade, you're gonna die for that. That's what exactly happens to Lick, because he sees not only Sally get attacked, but even Waltos get attacked, and he's like, you're going to die. So he is about to unleash this crazy attack that would have killed Yami and Asta, but then that's when we see Ghosh come up and actually reflect the spell back at him, which badly damages Licht. And essentially it's looking like, okay, everything's done. We're gonna capture Licht so he can find out and rest and find out more information about the Eye of the Midnight Sun. But then that's when we see these this group called the Third Eye show up, and essentially they're all titled as Rhina the Treachery, Veto the Despair, and Fauna the Hatred. Which, especially from the standpoint when I watched the review I watched yesterday, they brought the mention, and I didn't even realize this because I wasn't paying attention at the time. The girl Fauna, one, we all know that Fauna back in the dungeon exploration arc was Mars's friend and was holding fire magic. And we see in this arc, this Fauna girl has fire magic alongside a fire salamander-like spirit. Honestly, similar to I think they said it's one of those elemental spirits, like how has with Sylph and the air spirit, and stuff like that. And it glossed over my head that Fauna could actually be Mars's best friend. That's her. She is still alive, and she's now working for the Eye of the Midnight Sun because she felt like she's been wrong and how society has been unjust and everything, and how, mostly because her kingdom treated her really wrongly. And it makes sense. And it's like, I never thought of that. Holy shit. So that's definitely a mysterious thing that could happen, to where, guess what? Fauna there could definitely be Mars's friend. Now, if that's revealed to be the case, that's crazy. That's utterly shocking. I actually want to find out how she was still alive, and stuff like that. But they all come in. I do like all the members. They are very powerful, and even Lick says that they're even more powerful than me, which goes to show you, it's like, okay, this guy isn't the leader we thought he was. And we also know that because Lick says, well, there's a master above him, and he quotes on this person called the Master. So we know that there's, Licht isn't the true big bad of the Eye of the Midnight Sun. He's like, I guess you can say, I guess, honest to God, maybe third in command or something like that, from what we've seen of this hierarchy of this group, because the Third Eye is stronger than him, and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting. I believe Rhina is the person that has the copy magic, which is very interesting. And then Veto is the person with the animal-based magic and stuff like that, which is, again, interesting magics and stuff like that. Now, Yami essentially fights all three of them. Now, he does kind of have a little bit of trouble and stuff like that, but he quotes-unquote saying he was going to get more serious, but then all of a sudden, three of the Magic Squad captains show up, which are Jack the Ripper, Charlotte Rosare, and Nozel Silva actually show up to fight. And I do like the banter between the Magic Knight Squad captains and stuff like that, especially with Yami too. And also we have another girl who we find out that has another crush on a dude in the series, and it's not Charlotte having a crush on Asta. We actually find out that, well, guess what? Charlotte Rosare actually has a crush on Yami, and she deeply likes him and is into him, which is very hilarious, very funny, to say the least. And it's it's just hilarious how essentially it's the type of squad where it's like only about girls and they don't give a damn about men, and yet their leader is essentially like, I like this one guy a little bit too much. So it's definitely funny. Now, those three Magic Squad captains get involved in the fight, and they're fighting those members. Two, Yami starts to attack Licht. Now, Licht sees it coming. He's like, oh, you're dead meat. But then that's when we see Asta also team up with Yami, and together they take out Licht. Now, because using an anti-magic sword, this like seal, this magic seal that was been on Lict has been unlocked, and it's looking like Lict's about to show its true power, and everybody in this cave is going to more than likely die. But then you see the third eye, the members of the third eye, essentially seal Lict up and say, "We'll handle this sometime later," and stuff like that. So we see that Lict has some sort of seal on him, where this is some sort of bigger power under him. So that's another thing. It's like, okay, we need to watch out for and everything. So yeah, eventually what happens is Austin and the others return the kids to their families. You know, the arc ends on that standpoint. Rebecca actually gets to chance to kiss Asta. It's on the cheek. Kisses Asta for helping her out with her siblings or saving her siblings. That gets Noelle even more jealous from the standpoint. He kissed her, and I found it funny how, Rebecca's like, well, I may not be winning, I may not win this, whole thing, but maybe I'll steal his first kiss, which is very much funny, to say the least. So when they get back, you actually see that Julius, the Wizard King, actually calls in Yami and Asta for some, as well as the other Magic Knight Squad captains. And essentially, what Julius does is, from the two prisoners they captured in the Royal Capital Assault arc, whose memories are essentially hidden behind, magic that's blocking their memories off. They get Asa to essentially use anti-magic swords to take that off, and eventually that's when they read the memories of those two prisoners. So the reason why they brought the Magic Squad captains in is because, well, guess what? They want to find out, is there a traitor amongst us? Because that's what Julius says. So eventually they all bring them down into the whole room and everything. And that's when, the traitor is revealed to be Gilde Poisnoit, who's the captain of the Violet Orca Magic Squad. And essentially, Gouldre tries to play it off like, no, I didn't do it. Why would you trust me and everything? But then, stupidly enough, and it's funny because Julius is like, well, then we can just look into your memories and see if you're telling the truth. If you're so gun-ho about, saying that, there's lies, you would surely enough do the memories. But we see that Gouldre has, invisible magic, so he tries to escape. We see that his invisible magic cannot be hit by other people's magic because he's invisible and stuff like that, and he tries to get away. Eventually what happens is Asta and the other captains catch up with him. They capture him, and it's kind of done, set, match there. And when they kind of read his memories, we find out that he had, illegal activities, revealed, and then he played a part in the Capitol invasion and stuff like that. Now, Julius kind of says, listen, I'm probably going to keep this a secret from the public because I don't want them to know and stuff, and see that, oh, guess what? A freaking Magic Knight Squad captain was actually working with the enemy and caused an attack on the Capitol, which could make the civilians be very untrustworthy with the magic squads, I believe, and stuff like that, because then they'd be like, one of your captains freaking attacked us for no reason. Why should we trust these guys now? So yeah, now Julius has Yami and Asta essentially stay behind and talk about more information. My goodness, more information with about the Eye of the Midnight Sun people and stuff like that. And he says, listen, we found this underground temple, this underground, this underwater, temple that I want you, just the Black Bulls, to go to and investigate and see what's going on, which has connections to the Eye of the Midnight's, the Eye of the Midnight Sun, and do that for me, and stuff like that. We also do get a nice little backstory with Yami, with the fact that we find out that Yami actually doesn't originate from the Clover Kingdom. He's actually from a whole different continent, and he, we find out that when he first came, he was, well, a foreigner, and a lot of people weren't really didn't like him. We saw how he got his grimoire. People still didn't like him. We also see that he has a three-leaf clover grimoire. He doesn't have a four-leaf one, but he's still pretty damn strong. And I do like the fact how Julius came across him, and Julius and Yami got to know each other. So I wonder if we're going to get more understandings to how Julius and Yami got to know each other better. And at the time when Julius met Yami, he was just a Magic Knight squad captain. So you have to wonder, maybe, Julius enlisted Yami into his Magic squad, and then Yami eventually created his own Magic squad after Julius, I'm guessing, became the Wizard King and everything, which is really interesting. So I do like the connection that Yami and Julius have, and I really want to see more into that as well, and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. So yeah, that's how the arc ends. And in the next arc, it's essentially the underwater sea temple arc, which I already started watching and I'll get into and I'll make my review whenever I'm done with that arc and stuff like that. But I really did enjoy this arc. Honestly, I think this might be my favorite arc of the series. I really do. I definitely like the character development we got from Ghost and Yami and stuff like that. I also do like the ever-growing growth of Asta in this story as well. I also do like the frequent appearances by newly made characters and stuff like that. It's definitely gonna be interesting to see where this story goes. And I'm again still wondering, who is this quote unquote master and why does he want Asta's grimoire so bad? Along to do with the fact that he wants what is, I guess apparently it's his possessions, his swords, these two demon swords essentially. But I guess I'm just have to continue watching to find out. But other than that, guys, definitely liking where the story is going, and it's very intriguing. So next time, I'll be back with the arc number 5, which is the underwater sea temple arc. And yeah, but other than that, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully, you guys like the video. Leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this arc review for Black Clover. What are your favorite moments of the Midnight Sun arc here? And yeah, hit the subscribe button if you want to get more Black Clover content. Again, like I said, I'm going through each and every Black Clover arc till I eventually get done with the main original anime series, and then that's when I'm going to probably start reading the manga, catch up, and yeah, then hey, I'll be reviewing the Black Clover manga. But other than that, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully, you guys have a great rest of your day. I know checking out this video. Until then, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.